Hi guys. Okay, so angle, side, angle. Basically, we don't need a side sandwich or an angle sandwich. What we do need is two congruent angles and then an adjacent side for this one. So we're going to say if angle A and angle D are congruent to each other. So if angle A, let me turn on the light here. And let me just zoom in a pinch. Oh, that's maybe too much. Zoom out and go like this. So, if angle A is congruent to angle D, and we have this other angle, angle B, and it would be congruent to angle E, and we have a side, let's just make it pink, angle BC and angle EF congruent to each other. I mean, not angle, side BC congruent to side EF. Then we can go ahead and we can say these two triangles are congruent to each other. We would say triangle, and I'm going to just say CBA, and I'm going to have to mimic that order. So FED is congruent to triangle FED. Okay? All right. Let's move onward and upward now. So let's do our first proof. Okay. So angle, angle, side. Well, first of all, we know straight away that we're going to take this part, what we are trying to prove, and put it right here. And we're going to go ahead and say that triangle WYZ is congruent to triangle XYZ. Okay, we are doing angle, angle, side proofs, so it's kind of a no-brainer that they're going to be congruent based on angle, angle, side. Next up, I'm going to write YZ. It bisects angle WYX. Okay, so that means YZ, it comes through and it bisects this angle right here, WYZ. Hopefully you remember bisects, it cuts it into two equal parts. So I have this angle right here and this angle right here that are congruent. So I'm going to say WYZ, this angle here, angle WYZ is congruent to this angle over here, XYZ, angle XYZ. And that is because they just told me it's a bisector. So definition of an angle bisector. All right, right here, YZ bisects, that was a given. Just kind of forgot to write that one in. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write my next given, which is going to be angle YWZ, this angle right here, is congruent to this angle over here, YXZ. And that's a given. Okay, last up, they share this side, this red side, right? It's part of this triangle and it's part of this triangle. So this red side, we're going to say YZ is congruent to YZ, and that would be reflexive. Okay, so there we go. We have an angle, we follow it around to the next angle, and then we have a side. Angle, angle, side. Okay, so I'm going to move this along, and we're going to start on this proof right here. I'm going to fill in some of the gaps along the way, and then I'm going to have you guys finish it. Okay, so angle ABC is congruent to angle CED. ABC this angle right here, is congruent to CED, this angle right here. And you also know that you've got some parallel lines. So AB, this line, is parallel to this line right here. I'm going to highlight the transversal just so you can kind of get an idea. So right here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to write this first given. Angle ABC is congruent to angle CED. And then I'm going to write given. Okay, next up I'm going to write AB is parallel to CE, and I'm going to write given. Next up, I'm going to follow this given with some commentary. I'm going to turn my paper and see if I can identify an angle relationship. Remember, when they tell me parallel lines, I want to think, hey, corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior. Well, these angles here and here, they would be corresponding angles. These are my parallel lines. This is my transversal, upper left-hand corner, upper left-hand corner. Corresponding angles. And I need to make sure that I can write it correctly. So from B down to A over to C, angle BAC is congruent to this angle over here, from E to C to D, angle ECD. All right, corresponding angles. Next up, C is the midpoint of AD. So this guy right here, he's the midpoint. Okay, so that means that AC is going to be congruent to CD. All right, and then these would be congruent. Whoops, actually we want to say DC. And that would be, given up here, and then this AC and DC are congruent because they just told you it's a midpoint. So, definition of a midpoint. Okay, and last but not least, you guys should be able to fill this part in by yourselves. Okay, I'm going to do a little pause, and you guys are going to see what I'm going to fill in for you, but your job is to finish 6 and 7 if you want to get credit for it. Okay, so take a minute and copy this down what I have. Don't forget to mark up your figure, and you're going to need to fill in the rest for credit. Otherwise, there's no making up that stamp. And then over here, mark up your figure and fill in the rest for credit. Your next video to watch is going to be Hypotenuse Lake. So, be nice, and I will see you guys Friday.